All right, let's see what we got here. I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Hopefully, you guys should be able to hear me. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. Now, pretty much what I do as a spiritual healer, if this is your first time here, I pretty much help you to attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, in this channel, to give is to receive, what I do pretty much, it's essentially the same thing. However, what I do is that I use the power of words, you know, to help you to attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, when I'm talking about the power of the words, now what I'm really talking about here is that, let me move this for a second. Yeah, so when I'm talking about the power of words, what I'm really talking about here is what you call quotes, proverbs, um, old saying, wise saying. And the reason why for me I call that the power of words is because of how powerful they are. The number one thing that I realize about those quotes is that it isn't necessarily what is being said, but it's how it's being said. So when we're talking about the power of words, or when I'm talking about the power of words, or what I realize when I'm talking about, and what I notice about those quotes, those proverbs, is how they say what they say. That makes it that makes it so powerful. But in addition to that, how they say what they say, and also how captivating that is to your mind. In addition to it's almost like it makes you become a lot more receptive, and for you now to actually get to really see the wealth of wisdom that could be contained in that particular proverb or statement, or quotes or old saying. Like, to me, it's just unbelievable, because now you have, it's almost the same thing that when you see poetry, right? So you see poetry, you see, let's just say, lyricism, or you know what I'm saying, and then, although they are all different, respectively. However, the baseline, what makes them what they are, is how the language is being spoken, and that has always been the magic when it comes to the power of the words, because the how in it, what it does, it bypass your conscious mind. It almost, and that's how it demands your fucking attention. By bypassing your conscious mind, and get you to be like, okay, I'm here, and at that point, you become a lot more receptive and more open to, let's just say, the knowledge that is actually in those statements, and and not to mention the knowledge also. Because the how is being said, it's one part of it, but in addition to that, you also get to really experience a wealth of wisdom. And those quotes are very powerful. And to me, that's what I call the power of words. So technically, I use a lot of those quotes in those channels, and I expand on them, for the benefit of us having a greater understanding of what's being said. But most importantly, those statements are like, there's so much to say in them that, and that's what makes them very much. What's the word that I'm looking here? That's what makes them pretty much impactful, and so powerful too. Again, the power of words. So to me, when I'm talking about the power of words, it's not necessarily the meaning of a word, because the meaning of a word is just the meaning of a word. However, how the words is being used to display, enlightenment, or to display a certain level of intelligence. Now, that's captivating to me. That's where I really get to experience the power of the words. But anyway, that's pretty much what I do here as a spiritual healer. And as a disclaimer, just so you guys know, a lot of those quotes, to me, I always say this: when it comes to wisdom, wisdom is wisdom, regardless of where it comes from. Like if my son, 5 years, 6 years old, saying something true, it doesn't make it any less true because it came out of a 6-year-old mouth. So wisdom. So that's why a lot of those quotes, to me, I mean, a lot of them are gonna come from voodoo, general quotes, African proverbs or quotes, um, Christianity, Sufism, Gnosticism, like name it, you got it. It's if there's a profound wisdom in it, I mean, it's worth talking about. I mean, I don't limit myself to. I don't put myself in the box. So be on the lookout for that, just so you guys know. I mean, it's not gonna come from a particular source, but it comes from all sources. That has anything great to share, any enlightenment or any sight that has to be gained from it. I'm definitely down with it. And I guess another thing that I also wanted to mention about the how powerful those quotes are, but also the benefit of those quotes, is that, and like I always tell people, this is probably the only shortcut that you'll ever have in life, in terms of you may not have to go through it, for you to gain the knowledge that comes with going through the fucking experience. So a lot of those quotes, they help you not to go through that experience, but to retain or to obtain that knowledge. So that's probably the only shortcut, and that knowledge now could be used for other things. And that's why too it's good for you to listen to your elders. But again, for me, when I'm talking about elders here, I'm not referring to, let's just say, people who are older than me in numbers, because you have a lot of grown babies too. There's a lot of people that are old, but it's a baby in an old body because they have not transformed. I mean, there's a lot of people that way. Age is just a number. You know what I'm saying? Age is just a number, literally. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is too. That's why the elders that I'm talking about here, the wise ones, it's all about the transformation. So either way, age is still a number, but the difference comes in when I'm referring to the elders. It's not just in terms of, let's just say someone is 60 or 65, but keep in mind in terms of their understanding, because you have to have discernment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, well, because not every knowledge is going to build you up. But you would have the discernment to understand the effect of those different knowledge. But anyway, making a long story short, so that's probably my only disclaimer in terms of, those quotes. It doesn't matter. They are what they are. But also, dope. Okay. Yes. So, what we're gonna be talking about tonight, guys, is as you guys can see in the title, and let me go ahead and get it right now. So, when you have no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. Now, this here is, I mean, it's a fully loaded statement. Because this is saying a whole lot, but again, I mean, if you don't understand it, I mean, there's so much that is being said here. Like, you may just look at it from one perspective, but there are so many different perspectives that there's so many things that is being said here, but at the same time that are not being said. First of all, how do you even understand when you have no enemy within? Like, what the fuck is that? That alone is questioning. It's a red flag. What is that talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like your enemy within could be so many different things, but in a in essence, it's self-control. When you have no self-control, meaning you're not emotionally balanced or you're not in alignment with yourself. Again, no enemy within. You not. There's no discrepancies between you and your ego, or you and your shadow, or you and your emotions. So again, not being, and not having no enemy within. I mean, there's a whole lot that's being said here, but at the same time, that is not being verbally like stated. You know what I'm saying? And here and because having an enemy within too, it's implying that you are against yourself. And you being against yourself, technically, whenever you're not in alignment with you, whenever you're not following your passion, whenever you're not following your heart, whenever you're not doing any of these things, then when you're not, then you have an enemy within. You know what I'm saying? But again, it could be said in so many different ways. There's so many different things that this can also represent, or you could be emotionally unbalanced. But for the most part, when you're not in alignment, it's gonna be all of that shit. Meaning you're gonna be emotionally unbalanced, mentally all fucked up. Like it's when you're not in alignment with you. I mean, you're just not in alignment. It's a lose lose situation. So that's already the first part of this. And God, like if I were to expand on those different aspect or reason why there could be an enemy within, that alone is like it could go in so many different ways. And again, I'm still trying to show you how powerful this shit is because there's a lot that is being said here, but yet again, it sounds so simple. Because what do you mean by not having enemy within, and who is our enemy within? And that could be a number of things. But the bottom line of what this is also showing you here too, when you have no self, when you don't master yourself, or you're not a king in your kingdom, it's like you like free lunch. You're technically free lunch. Because what they're referring to here too, there's so many things that is being said too, man. It's like it's almost like you can imagine the idea of if you're looking to control your environment, control yourself. Control yourself. And not to mention, as we all already know, for you to, I mean, you want to be respected, you got to respect yourself. So again, this is also showing you the power of you, and how when you're not in alignment in you, it's like this is when, I mean, you are out of the game. Because having an enemy within is also implying a disconnection between you and you, or you being at war with you, or you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, shit, like, and this is also, I mean, it's showing a disconnection between you, man. Because when you have enemies, enemies are at war. So any kingdom that is at war with itself, meaning you're not in harmony, you will not stand, you will not survive. But this is also showing you too on the flip side of it too. When there's no enemy within. Now nothing on the outside can touch you. Because when you really, I mean, and that shit goes deep because this is actually a spiritual law. That's why you have to be in alignment with you. The whole idea of when you have God in your life, you could walk through fire and not to be burnt. I mean, and again, the concept of God could be looked at in so many different aspects too. But so far, I mean, I would guess it's safe to say God is inside of us. We're talking about those divine qualities in us. Again, I mean, there's a constant connection between us and God. And that's why God, regardless of how you look at it, it's a part of you as it is a. I mean, you are a part of Him as it is a part of you. And also keep that in mind too. Without you, there's no God. Just like we always like to say, if there wasn't a God, we wouldn't be here. Well, vice versa. Why is it vice versa? Because even us, the okay, let's just say if I'm Muslim, the idea of your God means nothing to me. What I'm trying to show you here is that it's my state of mind of Allah or whatever that makes this powerful. It's because I believe in this. I'm willing to give my life up, whatever the fuck it is. So again, you can look at it from different perspective, but the one thing that is hard for you to do or to say is to dissociate God from you. And or even if you're talking about your Lord Jesus Christ, you give it power, bro. There's people in India who don't even fucking know what the fuck you're talking about. Are they gonna die? You know what I'm saying? First of all, you're gonna die too. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line of what I'm trying to say here, I mean, regardless of which God you choose, God means nothing without our approval. And if Jesus Christ is the ultimate God to you, which is good, congratulations. I mean, shit, it's your life. But what I'm saying here is that it's coming out of your mouth, it's coming out of your conviction, it's coming. Hopefully, I hope it's coming. It's coming out of your heart. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing I always tell you, motherfuckers, regardless of who you saying that you believe in, make sure you become that. Because ultimately, for me, because I understand the concept of God, and I also understand the concept, and also I also understand how we work and the way we operate as human beings. You do the things that you become, and you become the things that you do. So that's why even in a real life experience shit, talking about Jesus, when you're not about Jesus, it's not. That's why there's no transformation that's taking place into your life. That's why you see a lot of people who goes to church, they still talking behind it. They gossiping, talking bad about. It's another social shit because it's just something that they're doing to feel good about it. But the actual wisdom is not has no impact on them. When the knowledge has an impact on you, that's when you become the knowledge. That's why the purpose of you, becoming or having knowledge is for you to be wise. Do you want to sound smart or do you want to be smart? And if you're going to be smart, well, guess what? I mean, sounding smart comes with it. It's just your nature at this point. I mean, you're just expressing your true nature, which is being smart. Well, you sound smart, you act smart, and you do smart shit. Isn't that the purpose of us learning? What the fuck? You learning to be stupid? Like, what the fuck are we doing? But again, by understanding our nature, I'm trying to let you know there's a direct connection. I mean, whatever you want to call God, and there is, because a lot of people, you act just the way your God asks you to act. You behave just like your God behave. Now, this is a little more on a higher level in terms of, understanding your essence. And that's what I talk about when I talk about spirituality. By the way, if this is your first time here, check out my other channel, Lespri, where we go heavy on spirituality. Although this is also spirituality too, because there's nothing outside of spirituality. But what I'm really talking about here is our essence as spirit, the way we work. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, even if you don't understand, you know, how much you need God and how much God needs you, it is in your essence. Now, what I'm talking about here is reflecting that mirror for you to see it. But only if you have the sight would you be able to see it. You know what I'm saying? I like it's not a coincidence when you're talking to a Christian, they always have the Bible with them. They'll drop a few verses. I mean, you know, the book there is part of their formation that this is the greatest book of all. And this is the only book that they're gonna need. And if there's anything that they're gonna say, it has to come out of that book. So what do they do when they need to prove you something? They use the book. So they are doing exactly what the book is telling them to do. That's why you act like your God. If I become a 7-day Adventist right now, well, guess what? My Saturday now is going to be different. Because just like God, you know, created or worked 7 days or 6 days, whatever the fuck that story is, but had that the day where, you know, the Sabbath, well, guess what? That's what I'm going to do too. But the only difference is that day instead of Sunday is going to be Saturday. And now my Saturday has a different meaning than you. So then now I'm creating a reality through my understanding of God or of my God. You know what I'm saying? Just like in Christianity, it's the only book in that their instructions, their God tells them, you know what? No other God nobody should be looking at any other gods. So for a Christian, because of that, if you're a Buddhist, if you let's just say into Hinduism, whatever the fuck you practice, then it's not the real God. Why? Because that's what their God told them. And their God also tell them what? Go throughout the world, spread the word, make people change so they could attain that same God that we have. And now they could turn around and tell you this is the true God. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick, but I just want you. I'm gonna go back to making the point, but I just wanted to let you know, like, again, like this is spirituality is your life. This is who you are. It's your essence. So going back to what we were talking about, but let me finish up that point real quick, right? So that's part of their, you know what I'm saying, formation. That's what their God told them, and that's what they do. That's how they act. But if you like a Buddhist now, there's no way Buddha said anything like that. There's nowhere where Buddha, you know what I'm saying, said, no, there's no other God. In fact, you know what I'm saying, they looked at life on a whole different level. So now the people who are Buddhist, meaning who have accepted that as their God, have incorporated that into their life and their behavior. They're never going to tell you, you know what, you should become Buddhist, fuck Christianity, and no, because that's not part of their, and that's why when you understand that, when it comes to those mythologies or those stories or those God, whatever the fuck, those are the ultimate mind control. Especially when you don't understand why you fucking doing it. Because these things are there to serve you. Because when the Egyptians have Osiris and all that shit, that was created to serve you. Because you are Seth, you are Osiris, you are Isis, and you are also Horus. That story, when you understand mythology, that's when you understand, you know, and I also, let me say this too, when it comes to wisdom too, it can either set you free or it could and imprison you. So that's why you got to watch out too, what type of wisdom. I mean, is it the type of wisdom that's allowing you to expand your consciousness? Or is it putting you in a box? But anyway, saying all of that, I just wanted to make that point real quick. Saying all of that, it goes back to, not having any enemy within. This is how deep this shit goes. Because when we're talking about not having any, I mean, not having no enemy within, again, like, there's a lot that's being said here on many different levels too. But the bottom line is this. I'm just going to summarize it this way. It's you being in alignment with you. When you become in alignment with you, in other words, when you control yourself, then the outside, you have the ability to control the outside now. Now the outside cannot hurt you. Another way of saying this is when you say, when you stand for something, you don't fall for anything. But when you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. And even in terms of what we're talking about in terms of outside enemies too. When you're dealing with haters or people who are against you, right? What really are they looking for? Your weakness. It's either they're trying to project certain things in you, trying to make you feel a certain way. They want you to feel bad or to feel a certain way. Again, when you have no enemy within, nigga, please. I mean, you cannot hurt, like, nigga, like what you eat don't make me shit. You see, even something as simple as that requires for you to be in alignment with you. To have self-control, to understand that, listen, man, okay, great. Your life, I'm not, nah, man, I'm not, no, that's what you did. It's that's like somebody, losers want you to lose. Losers always want other people to lose. The whole idea of because you can't do it, that doesn't mean I can't do it. I'm not you, you're not me. And first of all, too, how do you even know that you can't even do it? Do you see what I'm saying? So again, because as we grow spiritually too, and that's what in my last recording I was also talking about that, because a lot of us when we talk about spirituality, we always talk about the meditation and all that good stuff, and not talking about the other stuff that we gotta pay for it. Do you see what I'm saying? Especially depending on, because before we became the person that we are, and that's everybody, you had to go through what I call the betrayal season. And that's why you are the representation of that Christ. When you become that Christ consciousness now, then you have put all of those things behind you, but you got to go through it. And the reason why you got to go through it, because as you develop, you start to know who you are. You start to, express yourself. Other people become jealous of you, and not necessarily because of what you have. I came to understand that. Like for me, as I became this spiritual healer, I had to remove myself from a lot of situations. First of all, for me to fully embrace me, but also, and I understood I had to go through what is called betrayal and all that shit, because a lot of these people, it was my energies. I certainly understand, when people say your energy irritates other people, I mean, I definitely get it. Because what's really taking place is that as you becoming more of yourself, and then a lot of these people who are not being who they are, they see you being who you are. It's like, oh my God, how dare you? Who do you think you are? That's why a lot of these haters, they always think you thinking you better than them, when you're not saying that I'm better than you. I'm just being a better version of me. Do you see what I'm saying? So you showing them how weak they are. Because I have, listen, I mean, I had carried my cross, man. Listen, anyway, I'll tell you guys a little bit of my background. Towards the end, let me see what time is it now. Before we get done. So, but making a long story short, this is all part of your spiritual journey. And anybody who became anybody, or as you hear it in different tones or in different ways, you hear it like. In fact, I was listening to French Montana. Montana was talking about how he got shot. He came back in the hood. He was making more money. These things are happening with rappers. Listen, man, it is what it is. You think everybody's gonna be happy for your success? Now, it's being said in that sense, but the same thing. I mean, because this ultimately, this is all energy, man. Now, a lot of people you may look at it in terms of money or maybe in terms of your accomplishment, but ultimately, and even the people who are making money too, it's you growing. And I'm listening to French Montana talk. I'm like, damn, this nigga, he grown. This nigga's so like he's so in touch with this shit. Yeah, man, he's definitely one of the ones. He got the sight. You know what I'm saying? But I could see, I mean, although the way I would say what I say is a little bit different, but ultimately, all I'm trying to say, it's all light. Because a lot of these guys, it's not just because they become successful, but there's a state of mind that they have attained. That's why these niggas move differently. And they understand how they got to move too. Oh, it comes with the game. It comes with attaining that Christ consciousness. Another way of saying that the person that they have become or they are becoming, it's another way of talking about their Christ consciousness too, because they are becoming better version of who they are. That's why a lot of these guys, believe it or not, of course they have to believe in God and they got to believe in themselves. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm saying all of that to say, again, let's go back to, like having self control. Your enemies, or I mean, what they truly looking for is, what I'm saying, is that witness in you. And I was also saying that I came to understand when I was talking about the light, in terms of, what I'm saying? I mean, he may be making money, but going back, but the bottom line is this: you being yourself, you being a better version of yourself, and as you're doing so, that light, what I'm saying, people seeing that is as if you, depending on where you are on your journey, you're gonna have to go through it. Do you see what I'm saying? And then as you're going through it, that's when you'll get to understand everything about your enemies. Because when you becoming in alignment with yourself, there's so many things. Now you have a better understanding for your enemies now. That's why they are no longer your enemies too. I mean, you know who they are, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, again, like there's so much shit that's being said here, man. Like this is a fully loaded statement. Because the minute you have no enemy inside of you, listen, it's almost like it's the idea, picture this, right? It's the idea of as you change, everything around you change. But what that is truly saying is with now you have a fresh pair of eyes, you look at things differently. Meaning what people could call, let's just say, difficulties, you would probably look at it as opportunities. And that's what I do too in helping people to develop their God mind, to adopt a Godhead mentality, is to start looking at life from that perspective. Meaning for truly what it is. But for you to do that, that's what it requires for you to know your essence. You know what I'm saying? For the enemy outside not to hurt you, you got to have no enemy within. Well, this is also, I mean, shit, that shit's saying a whole lot. But again, now that you have a better grasp on yourself, you could deal with people better too. Like my enemies, the reason why they cannot hurt me is because I know that's their pain. It's not my pain. Do you see what I'm saying? Because ultimately, even when someone is trying to hurt you, but they want you to be hurt, that's because they're already hurt. That's why when I know the truth has set me free. So therefore, your enemies cannot touch you. Because at some point in your journey, these things are going to happen. And as a spiritual healer, listen, man, I'm letting you know now. Depending on where you are. But it has to happen because it's part of your formation. It's part of your, let's just say, graduation, for lack of better terms. Because all of it is going to build you up to a certain way for you to become the person that you need to be. And here's something else too. As you becoming more, there's no enemy within, meaning you are in alignment with yourself. You have your self confidence and all of that. Now you will create boundaries with other people because now I know who I am and I accept who I am for who I am and I'm rocking with who I am and I can see who you are and I don't have to deal with you. That's where the part of the journey. Anybody, as you got to develop quality in you. You got to have your boundaries. Like I've seen this girl on IG. She had where I'm going. It's invite only. I loved it because that's where I'm heading to, baby. I love that shit. It's invite only. That's it. But this is part of growth too. It's when you don't have any enemy within. Do you see how this statement is saying a whole lot? When you have no enemy within, listen, man. It's like when you have that peace, you found your treasure. Nothing's going to take that away from you. That's when you find God, listen, man, you become fulfilled. You appreciate your own peace. Oh, nigga, listen. I mean, I know. And there's nobody in the world that can fuck this. Like, I know for me, like, I'm not fucking. Nobody will disturb my peace. Nobody. Because I know what I got. Go get yours, motherfucker. I got mine. If you want to disturb anybody's peace, it's going to be your own, baby. It ain't going to be mine, nigga. You know what I'm saying? In fact, when you have no enemy within too, you learn how to build stronger boundaries with people. And boundaries by no means doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying, you putting people out of your life. No, it's respectfully understanding who they are and you knowing where you are, where you're going, and that's that. You may choose to do this, but at this point in time in my life, this is what I value. This is what I go for. Listen, this is what it is. So no enemies outside can fuck with you. And guess what? And when you have that state of mind too, money's not going to fuck you up. Do you see what I'm saying? And like I always tell you guys too, man, money is just you do not marry that bitch. This is a bitch, like you treat her like a bitch for life. Like they say, this is a hoe, like you know how they say, you know what I'm saying, you don't turn a hoe into a housewife. That's exactly how you treat money. Make sure money is always that hoe. Never your housewife, man. The minute you do that, or when money is your master, oh my God. R.I.P. baby. R.I.P. To you and yours. But again, guys, going back to, there are so much that could be said, like when there's no enemy within. That alignment in itself, when you're projecting that, it's just when you, I mean, the weapon can be formed, but you'll never be hurt. And it just is what it is. And this is one of those things, regardless, I mean, you just got to know it. It's nothing that, let's just say, if you're listening to this and then you can use it against me. Like, yeah, how do you use that against me? In fact, that in itself is your boundaries. I'm just showing you your boundaries. I'm just showing you how you can never touch this. And if you somehow thought about it in your dream, well, I hope you have. By now, you definitely having a nightmare, though. Wrong move, kiddo. Anyway, um, understanding, not having enemy. The whole point, and here's something else too. The word enemy here is used for a reason, right? Because having no enemy within, this is saying that you are, when you have no enemy, what I'm saying, this is a friendship. This is part of your family. This is who you are. This is you. When you become you know that much connected to yourself, in so many words, that's what this is also saying. So again, there's so much that's being said here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like when you stand for something, you cannot fall for everything or for anything. But on the flip side of that, though, that's why when you have no integrity, you're not in connection with yourself. In other words, there's enemy within. Discrepancies, anxieties, depressions, you not being in touch with yourself, denying your feelings, not embracing who you are, you suppressing your feelings, all of that shit. Those are your enemies within. And when you do that, the outside enemies can easily touch you. In fact, even as you're gonna go through that journey yourself, as I had to go through it myself, you're gonna realize a lot of these people, man, they trying to use their negativity and put it in you. Because how dare you do not want to have negativity in your life? How dare you want to win in life? Oh yeah, it's that way. And you'll get to see, and I know for me, I can see it from afar. I see those people demons. They're shadow. They're monsters. And this is what I say when you know somebody's true spirit. You know truly who they are, how ugly they are. And those are your haters. Those are the people who, as you're trying to get out of you're crab in the bucket. I can't do it, so you can't do it too. No. Why am I you? And why are you me too? I mean, I get it. We both got two hands and but shit, that's your shit. What that has to do with me? You know what I'm saying? And I realize, and that's why you don't want to hang out with losers, because losers, and here's the thing too. Sometimes when you're hanging out with other losers, you may not be a loser yourself because you don't fully know who you are. And as you're gonna go through that process, that's when, you know what I'm saying, that's when you start doing good for yourself, that's when you have enemies. But the other people that you're dealing with, there's no issues. When everybody's losing, oh, it's all good. We all losers. But if one of you want to do better, it's like, you know what, man? Let me just change my life, man. Let me just go ahead and do what I love, man. Let me come out here and smile like this. I'm saying, make those haters hate, man. You know what I'm saying? I love when I'm being me. They love it too, but they love it and hate it. They hurting themselves, and I'm having fun. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like we're like in two separate worlds. You know what I'm saying? But yet, they will not stop, watch you. It's unbelievable. It's like I'm seeing the shit from afar. The craze, the insanity, the level of insanity. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like the fucking disconnection that they have within. The anxiety, the fucking chaos. And all you gotta do is watch them. Because they will destroy themselves. Listen, you don't even have to lift a finger. Because they cannot hurt you. And watch them hurting themselves. Was there a verse in the Bible that talked about that? You know what I'm saying? Watch your enemies. I watch them destroy themselves. I'm like, wow. It's like the more they try to come at you, the more they are hurting themselves. And I'm like, wow. So sad. You know what I'm saying? I don't even talk about it. I'm like, so sad. Okay, keep going. Keep hurting me. Come get me. You know what I'm saying? But like I always tell them, make sure do whatever you got to do. Like me, I never miss. That's why I take it easy. You know what I'm saying? You talk loud. When I'm coming, you won't even know. Like a ninja. What the fuck happened? Where is he? Alright, baby. Soon though. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna come see you. Anyway. Again, like the complexity in that statement and how, we could take it in so many different ways, in terms of when as you're creating and just to show you too to what extent and what it means by your enemies cannot hurt you. Because as you're becoming in alignment with yourself, right? The ability that you have to create boundaries, but also you also have a better understanding of who they are. Just like I was saying, right? I know, all they doing is trying to get me to be part of their bullshit. And you want me like, you must not know about me. But you thought you do though. You thought you did though, right? So, but anyway, it's just crazy. But then now you have a better understanding of them too, because you are in alignment with you. So that's why I always tell you guys, there's, the idea of devaluing yourself. It doesn't exist, guys. There's no reality for it. There's no actuality for it. There's no one who has ever been blessed by God who devalued themselves. Yes, they may choose to say it's by the grace of God. They could say whatever the fuck they want. Look at their actions. How bold that they are, the confidence that they have, that they actually have, the ability, even when they were failing, they keep on going. Yes, you may say, oh, the grace of God, all you want. I'm not denying it. That's your God. It's not my place. But I also see you too, motherfucker. That's all I'm saying. So you can say whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But I also know you put in the work. And if you're implying by the grace of God, meaning you may have certain ideas, certain inspiration that came out of God, that is true. I'll take all of that too. And that's why for me, I mean, I know I would say people, this is by the grace of God, but don't get it fucked up by what I mean by this is the greater God, by the grace of God. I'm saying, when you get to understand the understanding, and when you wake up to God too, so it's the grace of God. When you wake up to the truth, everything, it is, everything I am is God, nigga. So therefore, my success, anything else that derives from it, I get it. But sometimes people don't understand that's what those people are talking about. You think, I don't know if you think this nigga was just like, if I'm talking about Tyler Perry, right? Because he said, he don't know how he got successful by the grace of God. I could tell you this motherfucker did not sit his ass home and pray to God and then somehow the grace of God just manifested. That I could assure you. So whatever grace of God that he's saying, it's not the grace of God as you think it is. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. And I know for me, that is a righteous answer. I would have said the same thing, but I know what I would mean by it. And I understand what he meant by it too. Because it's not saying, he didn't deserve it. Because if he didn't deserve, I mean, you mean to tell me this nigga didn't deserve his fucking success? After all the motherfucking work he put in? From the Medea this, Medea that, and all that shit. When he came out around the year that he came out, he was the only one doing what the fuck he was doing. Captivated the black community and with his marketing bullshit. Again, I'm not judging. I'm not saying shit. I'm just trying to say to you that, again, we cannot dissociate God from us. And even when you choose to devalue yourself, it doesn't make sense. I mean, we all say it due to political, to be acceptable. Like, I mean, let's face it. It's to be accepted. It's to feel good. It's that social bullshit. To feel humble. You see what I'm saying? But not truly to be humble, because, you could appreciate yourself. How the fuck you're not being humble and still be by the grace of God? Because again, God at this point is a deeper aspect of you any fucking way. But just like I was saying, going back, I mean, you can't tell me this nigga sat at home and said he became successful by he was praying day and night. I mean, maybe he could have done any of that, but I know for a fact he didn't sit his ass home. This motherfucker was putting the work in. And just like he knows and everybody else know, you never quit what you're doing. And the reason why you don't, this is what it is. We here to fail. The objective of us failing is to get up. Your only objective in life is to keep going. Keep getting up. When you understand that, it takes you a long way. And now you have also adopted a Godhead mentality. And you got to understand that too, because even as a baby, just like I always love to tell people, if you didn't keep getting up, you wouldn't be walking right now. And like I always tell people too, this ain't no fucking motivational bullshit. This is no motherfucking trying to get you to be inspired. Nigga, it's your nature. It's your birthright. But if you have enemy within, you wouldn't be able to understand it or nor to see it. And because you have enemies within, even just for you to know what your purpose is, it's a fucking, wow, it takes a seminar. And all you got to do is just ask yourself the question. And for the most part, you already know. And it's never something that you don't know. And that's what fucks me up. You're just so much in your way because you have that enemy within that it's like, nah, nigga, we just, nah, that's not it. That's not it. Let's try this. Let's try that. But all along, you know. You know what I'm saying? Again, having that enemy within. And the minute you separate yourself from yourself, you worship idols. And that's what worshiping idol is. And I always tell you guys that. The minute you're not true to yourself, you're going to be false with everybody else. And that's exactly what you do. I remember at some point, I always used to be like, yo, how do haters do this? Like, I know for me, like, if, and that's not, there's not too many people that I don't like. You know, I don't give a fuck about you for me not to like you or to like you. If that makes any sense, right? I mean, not that I don't give a fuck about you, but it's like, shit. You would have to take a lot in me though. Like, in what circumstances would I have not to like you? I mean, you are just being you. Like, what again? I mean, unless if you're coming at me, then it's different. But otherwise, like, live, love, and laugh, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I always kind of like used to ask myself, it's like, because I know for me, but because I had, and then that's when I start to understand, right? Your haters always, even though they don't like you, they always hang around you. But for me, I know for me, if I feel a certain way about someone, not necessarily not don't like you, or maybe I don't like your energy, you know, I never had that two-faced shit. Never, ever. But then I realized though the reason why I was never that way is due to because I have chosen me. When you all become in alignment with you, when you're true to you, you cannot be false to somebody else. But then again, those haters, I mean, what else do you expect out of it? That's the way it's supposed to be. First of all, you in a society where everybody's wearing masks anyway. The mask is this. It's to act like, okay, they normal, and then that's when the motherfucker may not like you, but yet they still laugh and ha 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 hee hee. So I used to be like, how the fuck do they do it? But now it definitely makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can they not do it? That's how they should do it. No wonder why that's how they do it. You know what I'm saying? But also too, man, something else that comes in by you being having no enemy within is that it also ironically help you to identify the enemy outside too. I mean, you identify it. I know for me, I have identified to not in a sense of as for me to maintain some sort of, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, you know how when you forgive your enemies to love your enemies. I mean, it's not like you don't know that they're not your enemies, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost like, yo, if I were you, I would have probably hated me too. You know what I'm saying? Because because do you see what I'm saying? Because that's how, I mean, it got to a point, and that's part of having compassion and having that, not having an enemy within, understanding that because I am in alignment with myself, and when you see somebody else who's not in alignment with who they are, how do you expect these people to act? And that's why you have to learn how to create your boundaries. You don't create your boundaries because you hate them. You have to understand you're dealing with people who are insane, with murderers, man. You got to have your boundaries because if they're insane, you're not expecting someone insane to act sane with you, are you? It's not going to happen. So it isn't necessarily because they are your enemies and shit like that. And that's what I was trying to say, because I understand their insanity. But that doesn't mean, it definitely means that I cannot embrace them neither. But it's not a hate thing. It's not because I hate you, but it's because, nigga, you got nothing for me. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like your insanity. Like if you're insane, do you see what I'm saying? And I'm saying like how can I be mad if I were to hang out with you? You do some insane shit. I put myself in that situation, man. It's like if you know you're gonna roll with a crazy motherfucker, you know the motherfucker's crazy. You gonna roll with this nigga? You see what I'm saying? It's almost like that one friend, that nigga fight everywhere he goes. Nah, nigga, we good, man. Like I know for me, nigga, alright, man, alright, baby. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we're just gonna stay home tonight, baby. If you don't do that, then the nigga's gonna be who he is. And that's what when you're dealing with certain your the enemies or what you call your enemy. That's why for me I have compassion for them, but yet I gotta create the boundaries, and it's not personal. It's not personal. As now I have no enemy within, I have adopted such an internal peace, knowing who I am. How in the fuck would I ever let anybody destroy that? It doesn't make sense. Listen, not after when I discover what I got. Trust me, find your beauty, baby. You got it too. You gotta find it though. You gotta find it. That's when you gotta go within. That's when the transformation takes place. That's when you get to earn your stripes. Canes with a little egg. Pain is gonna be part of the game. Listen, I'm telling you right now, baby. Just keep going. Listen. You can't give. You already know. I mean, how do you go back to fucking stupidity, bro? You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not even worried about you. Because after you discovered certain realities, you can never go back anyway. And that's what I think. What was that movie? That's essentially what they were talking about, man. It's like it's after like let's just say you became a little bit smart, man. Like you can't go back doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? If you are in the fucking streets, right? You're doing street shit. As the minute you get to see it a little bit better, man. Even if you're not making money, you'd be like, nigga, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm good. You find something better. You find that's a little piece of that treasure. I'm just giving you clues. That's a little bit of that treasure. Keep going. When you keep going and you find that shit within, nigga. That's how you ride on your enemies. You feel me? And that's what it means when God tells you, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to make them your pedestal, man. That's why this is for the books. This is for the ones who don't believe. This is for the glory. I told him that already. I mean, hey, you don't have to believe in that yet. You'll see it. Although you would be a fool not to start believing now. But you know the hard-headed always got to see it to believe it. It's all good. Keep going. Keep hurting me. The harder they come, the harder they fall, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, again, showing you how deep it goes once you have no enemy within. And the enemies on the outside, shit, like, it's almost like they don't even exist. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have enemy, but even the way you would look at it, because now, as you become someone new. Your difficulties becomes opportunities for you. You know what I'm saying? Everything we do, you got to go through pain. And that's why I always tell my ladies, or my guys too, man, you got to learn how to love with a broken heart. You don't get your little heart broken and you just stop. Nah, baby. Yeah, you got to keep walking. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You're going to turn out to be like Chucky. You got to grow with your feelings or even spiritually. You get stronger feelings by developing your inner strength. And that's why you never closed off. The minute you do, you become cold, you become non-receptive, and then at this point, then that's when we're talking about, let's just say, they talk about, the fruit of the spirit. Then now you could talk about the fruit of your talk, of you being closed off, or what you call evil, or however label you want to give it. But truly, when someone have those evil tendency, it's never somebody who's in love, or who's technically open to love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never the case. That's why a lot of people, that a lot of your criminals, man, if you study their background, you'll see, they were closed off, they were mean bullies and hurting people. Like, that was all part of them. And it just grow. I mean, they grow stronger too. That's when they could go from, like, let's just say, killing a fucking pigeon or a dog to now bigger and greater things. And now killing people becomes is nothing. I mean, do you see? There's a process that they have to go through too. Just like us, in my process, I have to go through. But I'm saying all of that to say, how do you not create a boundary? And the boundaries got to be created because they're not on the same level as you. I mean, yo, I don't fuck with you because of you, bro. That's it. I'm saying, deal with you. Hey, you dealing with yourself, dog. Not over here, man. Yeah, we say no on this side, man. Stay where you are, stranger. Again, it's all out of love. You know what I'm saying? I'm sleeping good. Listen, man, I'm just good. What can I say? I feel good. I'm doing good. It's me. I'm the problem. I'm the problem, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm the problem and I'm the solution. I'm the solution of my problem and I'm the problem to my solution. But anyway, to making a long story short, guys, going back to tell you how deep this shit is, in terms of once you don't have any, I mean, when there's no enemy within, again, it goes a long way. That's why the key is always for you to have no enemy within on all levels. You want to become in alignment with who you are, but you can't do that if you're not embracing your feelings, if you're not embracing who you are, if you're not following your passion. I mean, it's a number of things that has to be in alignment. Now that would allows you to, and that's how you technically will transform. It's for you to be part of that transformation. A lot of people just have knowledge, but they don't have transformation. But the reason why they don't have, I mean, you got to be receptive to the knowledge. You have to become the knowledge. This is our essence. That's why I always tell people, even practically, even when you say you're not Jesus, you need to be Jesus. Otherwise, you're not going to act like him. And it's possible that because you think you're not Jesus, maybe that's why you're not acting like him too. But part of your essence, meaning, you got to believe in. I mean, it's got to be part of your reality. That's how we do shit. That's how we manifest shit. So meaning, even when you have knowledge, you have to become the knowledge. Isn't that the way we become wise? Do you want to have knowledge and not to be wise? Like, what would be the purpose of having knowledge? It doesn't make sense. So that's why the purpose, your purpose, and your only purpose, and the purpose of everyone, I mean, whether they know it or not, but when you know your essence, your purpose is to find you. For you to be the greatest you. I mean, there's nothing greater than that. And everybody that is going through their path, pretty much that's what they're doing. These niggas. I mean, and they also learning that too. That's why you don't attach to your accomplishment, but you attach to the person that you have become. And that's truly what it is. And that's truly when you believe in you. You know what I'm saying? And this is all part of the manifestation too. You have to believe in you. You have to. I mean, this is it. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about in terms of, when you have no enemies within, it allows you to identify your enemies. But at the same time, you have a greater understanding of your enemies. You have compassion for them, but also to identify them. That's important. So again, I was talking about the Christ journey, right? So this is you as you are becoming the person that you are, around the people that you are. And this is what you also got to keep in mind. A lot of times when we talk about enemies, people always think it's someone outside of somewhere else. Now, bro, your enemies is gonna be your family. It's gonna be your friends. Those are gonna be your enemies, man. Like I was watching from Netflix. I think it's called What Jennifer Did, and how this young lady killed her parents. Now, a little story about me because my background is a little bit similar, but except I'm on the flip side of that story. You know what I'm saying? So for me, pretty much, what I'm saying, my identity was actually stolen. At a very young age. I was, illegally adopted too. Because I don't know my true essence well, I shouldn't say my true essence because otherwise I wouldn't be here if I didn't know my true essence. What I'm saying? But my true essence led me to understand, what I'm saying, a lot of things, that anyway, my story is a little bit similar too. Like again, it's the flip side of that where, what I'm saying, I was illegally adopted into a family for a very long time. They never told me anything about who I truly was. And the whole idea behind it was for them to, and that's what makes it an organized crime because the whole family know about it. Because I always found it weird because I knew they didn't truly love each other. And that's when I also learned the connection that they had. It wasn't about love. It was really they're all criminals because part of what they do, they stick together, they rob together, and they have each other's back because it's a family crime. So here I go, find myself in that. What I'm saying? Now niggas literally trying to stick me for my paper. Shit that rightfully belongs to me. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like it's not even niggas trying to kill me for shit that I stole or for some shit that I'm trying to claim that's not mine. I'm talking about shit that is mine. The level of jealousy and dealing with all of that, it's just unbelievable. And also too, this is the biggest plot too. It's almost like if I didn't learn how to be me, oh man, I just would have been fucked. If I didn't know, I wouldn't be here right now. Real talk. But the twist and the beauty of this story, it's not gonna turn out to be that way. Obviously, as you can see me being here. And here's the beauty of it too. I solve my own shit. You know what I'm saying? Now I just need those FBI motherfuckers. You're just gonna give me the details. Thank you for the details. You know what I'm saying? And I may add a little bit of protection too. Why the fuck not? But other than that, you know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful story. But I'm telling you guys to say this, right? Your enemies, it's never gonna be people that you don't know. So knowing that, and as part of your Christ journey too, is that as you're gonna become who you are, or more Christ-like, not being afraid of who you are, standing for yourself, and things of that sort, then you're gonna see and you're gonna realize that that light. And a lot of people are talking about the same shit. I'm just trying to let you know what everybody's talking about. This is what it means, because ultimately you're dealing with underdeveloped other people who are undeveloped, who are spiritually underdeveloped, and now as you're going through, then you will irritate their demon, for lack of a better term. And really, it's not okay. You could call it demon, evil, whatever. I mean, I definitely get it. But for me, what I'm really trying to say, I guess it was just a shortcut, for lack of better terms. But what I'm truly saying is someone who has not embraced their own light. A lot of these people, they are totally closed off. It could be they never had love, and because of that, like, what I'm saying, oh, they were raped. There's a bunch of shit, man. And then that person never cared to open up, never cared to change, and guess what? They reproduce that same shit. And that's why also in one of my recordings, and again, we were talking about, and I was also talking about, how the real life shit that we really don't talk about, we're living in our mind. People are really talking about also, like, it's good to have your mom and dad, and it's always like the good way to go. I mean, I'm not against it, but that's not the reality of what we're living. That's not it. It's not true. For the most part, a lot of us, you have to go against your mom and dad. I mean, that's what I see. But what other people are telling me, it's crazy. Like, people are truly living in their mind. But I get it, because you are, what I'm saying, you are following a fucking image anyway. So you can't be in touch with the fucking reality, because you don't even see what's in front of you. Do you see what I'm saying? Your parent can only be good for you as good as they are good for them. Because a good parent, you're not going to be a good parent if you don't work on your own issues. And for the most part, you have kids who are having kids, man. You have people who technically were sleepwalking in life, and then now you have a kid by the time you're trying to wake up. It's like literally kids having kids. You have not, what I'm saying, not having the proper training. I know for me, I didn't have, like, let's just say, a nigga teaching you, how to choose a bitch. And a lot of us, that's exactly what you're going through. You never wanted what you had, but the thing you don't know is your dad probably didn't want that neither. And what you don't know neither, you not knowing that, well, there's a certain way you got to change it. There's a certain things you got to do, but no one is telling you what the fuck is that certain thing. Do you see what I'm saying? It's almost like, and that's where I always tell people, you have to understand and learn the spiritual laws, because the spiritual laws help you. It's the shortcut that help you to have a better understanding on how how to go about gaining certain things if you want it. For instance, you want love? Well, nigga, love yourself. Love yourself first. Be true to yourself. And everything else. Do you see what I'm saying? There's certain things in life you can't just go ahead and grab this. It doesn't work this way. You want this, well, you got to go that way to get it. You want this, you got to go that way to get it. And that's what the spiritual laws do. And the reason why it's even like that too, because as the Indian call this world, this is an illusion. Meaning things are not what they appear to be. The way they appear to be, the way you think you're going to have somebody, I mean, that's not the way it works. That's why you don't look at it. You got to go inward for you to see it. You don't look at it to see it. You go inward to see it. You see that again. Those are the rules. Those are the spiritual laws, meaning that's how it works. If that's what you want to, if you want to be wise, well, you got to go within. Meaning embracing the divinity in you, becoming more receptive, developing your third eye. All of that is part of you going within, working on your chakras, making yourself more receptive to light. Stay open, open up your heart. All of that shit. There's a certain ways and there's certain things. If that's what you're looking for, that's what you got to do. And again, I'm saying that to say, imagine if we're taking that same example, we're talking about parents, right? That's not what they wanted to do, but they didn't know how to do it. That's not what I wanted to do for myself, and then that's what ended up doing. I mean, because you don't have that proper knowledge, right? But nevertheless, it fucking happened. And of course, I mean, by having the understanding now, we could patch it up. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We could. I mean, it's gonna work itself out because we have the proper knowledge now. But the bottom line is this: your parents is not always the best thing for you, man. That's not true at all. And the worst thing is when you have stupid parents. That's even worse. Because the problem with these motherfuckers, regardless of how stupid they have power over you. So in other words, they get to be smart on you while they stupid, knowing that they are stupid too. Especially when they stepping outside or when they talking to other people. I mean, you know, but on you though, they gonna be the smart one on you. And that's what happens in most cases when you may have a certain parent that's not highly developed, and then you may have yourself who's going to college. You're always going to have that little thing. So again, we say one thing, and then our reality it's like I'm like, do you guys know something that I don't know, or you know what I'm saying? I just don't get it. But again, going back even to tell you, you know, about my story a little bit, like dealing with that. If I didn't choose me, if I had enemies, because what they were doing too is creating a lot of enemies in me. That's when abuse comes in. I mean, what the fuck do you think? Like people who hide your identity for you to begin with, that's already abuse, like to a billion. That's already a crime against you. So you think that person would want the best for me, man? You know what I'm saying? Now it's making sense to me. But I had to work through it. I'm like, but I'm glad of what she was doing too, because her action, her abuse was waking me up. Their abuse, I should say, was actually waking me up, because now I'm like, I'm waking up to what you're doing, because the whole emotional thing for me was you thinking it's family. These motherfuckers don't give a fuck. So do you see what I'm saying? So now they know they're using you against you. Because they already don't give a fuck. No wonder why this so-called mother in my life, man, all she does is talking bad, like destroying everything I'm building behind my back. But I'm glad, I mean, as fucked up as it may sound, she was preparing me for where we are now. So that's why for me, it means nothing to me. It's like, if you already doing that, I mean, am I going to be surprised? Is this bitch trying to kill me? I mean, she been doing that already. I mean, what's surprising now? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's what the abuse is, and that's what the crime is. But this shit is crazy. You know, if I'm not myself, that's the kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? That it's not only insane, and then can you imagine if I were to be part of that insanity? And that's where I actually came from too. And that's why I always tell people your environment doesn't it's not I mean defines you. Your environment defines you. A lot of people always like to say, you're a product of an environment. I mean, to a certain level, I certainly understand. There's gonna be some influences, but for the most part, your true self has got to. I mean, it's gonna have to fucking reveal itself. Not everybody who's from the project. I'll give you a perfect example, man. He's a drug dealer. In fact, it might even be a few, and mostly everybody else is working hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be a few too of these motherfuckers who's fucking up the whole thing, terrorizing the whole building, whatever the fuck they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else on that building, man. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, these motherfuckers stay in their project. You know what I'm saying? You see, that's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who you ever heard right now who was not in, they were not Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, as far as I didn't know Shaq was a gangster, was he? But that nigga was actually in the fucking project. You know what I'm saying? He had a Jamaican dad, I heard. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the nigga said. You know what I'm saying? This nigga was playing his ball, his shit. That's the type of shit this nigga was on. And still, I mean, I'm pretty sure he knew other niggas that was actually gangsters. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Give these niggas doubts and all that shit. But yo, man, Pops told me I gotta go back home, dog. You know what I'm saying? Again, your environment. You are not a product of your environment. Your environment defines who you are, bro. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna go along with this, or are you gonna find another way? Like, do you have a say? And we all do. But going back to, that's why when you have no enemy within, again, although you know what I'm saying, I mean, I make the shit look good, but the shit is fucked up, bro. Like, but I have to acknowledge how fucked up it is. Okay, that's what it is. That's them. What that has to do with me. In fact, if anything, it has everything to do with me. First of all, my money. I'm the show. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, and here's something else too. They fought so hard too, man. These motherfuckers always wanted to make me feel bad, making me feel down. Like I'm this dude. Like so many bad shit about me. Nigga, it's like, and then when you're like, what exactly now? Oh no, when you were a kid, you used to jump around and, oh, okay. What else? And then when you get to the mid of it, and these motherfuckers were talking about it, and you like, what are you talking about, bro? It's like there's no. It's like, what was it? A kid doing kid shit? You see what I'm saying? It's like I remember, right, and it's funny because I remember I was talking to my daughter and she was telling me how my son was just, Dad, he's like a little monkey jumping all over. I mean, shit, that's the shit I used to do. Then niggas used to be like, oh man, this dude, he just can't sit down. But what the fuck do kids do, man? I mean, these motherfuckers are trying to make me feel abnormal for some normal shit. You see what I'm saying? Like you would think as a kid maybe I had like 3 or 4 legs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but again, I mean, when you have no enemy within, I mean, people could say whatever they want, and then now I also, because I'm comfortable with me, I could see their limitation. I know their bullshit is not my bullshit. In fact, it's their bullshit. So much so that's why when this shit comes out, it's gonna reveal who the fuck they are. That got nothing to do with me. That whole family together is just trash. Like literally trash. And it's going to reveal like what that. I mean, it has everything to do with me, of course. But it's gonna show my beauty too. You get to be you, I get to be me. Because at the end of the day, man, everybody, we all gotta face our deeds. You hear me? But a lot of these people too, because of the lies that's behind this thing. You know what I'm saying? The secret that was kept for so long, and the crime that they did among them too. Like this lady that I was raised with, Evelyn, she killed her fucking brother. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, she said it was AIDS and all that shit. She actually poisoned her, and that's what they do. So there's something in the family where they doing that to steal people fucking inheritance and like, and that's the whole idea behind it. The shit was for them to steal my money and not to let me know about it, and then now take me out. It's like the whole Joseph story right there. You know what I'm saying? How I was sold. They tried to sell me. And they all work together. I mean, they couldn't pull it off. I mean, they all know about it. But they working together. I'm coming. Oh, I'm coming. It's coming soon. Wait. Evelyn. Yeah. Mm. It's either you or me, baby. And it's not going to be me. That's all I could tell you. It ain't going to be me, shitty. You know what I'm saying? Hey! You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. You may be able to run, but you can't hide, baby. You had your run. Just like anything and everything, man. To every beginning, there's an end. To every end, there's a beginning. Anyway, we're just going to leave that there. But again, going back to, the key thing here is that, it's not to have any enemy within. And again, that goes a long way. It means different things on different levels. But ultimately, what we're truly talking about here is you being in alignment with you. And the minute you do that, the whole world, everything else, is going to fall into place. Again, even when I'm talking about, because now I know who I am, I create boundaries. And even with the boundaries, it's nothing hateful. It's nothing like I'm better than you. It's none of that. But it's just, we have different interests. And it's almost like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't keep your hands to yourself, bro. Like, I can't be around you. You see what I'm saying? Hey, lady, you can't keep your hands to yourself, so I can't be around you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, you know what I'm saying? And I can't treat you because, and here's something else too, man. Like, it's not even fair to you. And it's not fair to me neither. And that's why those boundaries are fucking created. You know what I'm saying? That way I don't have to irritate you or your fucking your I mean, I'm nowhere near you. But anyway, to finish up on that Christ story, so you have to go through that process because as you're going through it, because this is how you are in the process of becoming who you are. And this is where the world, you got to go through the chaos as you are rebuilding yourself, and this is you creating a whole new reality. That's why every and anybody who's going through some growth and, you know what I'm saying, let's just say manifestation, which is all part of it, as you're going through your manifestation, I mean, these things are going to happen. And that's what you see in the Jesus story. That's what you see in the Judas. I mean, a lot of these people, they will betray you. And that's part of your story, even as the Spirit. And that's why that story is there to serve you as a guideline for you to understand your current situation. Jesus is not for you to. It's not the idea of being knowing who you are as a spiritual being. It's not to look for some sort of a dream that there's a paradise you're looking to escape this reality. It doesn't make sense. Escaping this reality does not make sense in its place. Why are you here if you're trying to escape it? And besides, just like I was saying, and I said that in my last recording, birth and death don't matter, bro. Why? Because you were born, you didn't know. You're gonna die, you don't know. But in between, what do you do, man? That's the only thing that counts, because that's the only thing you have power over. Because when death comes, you're not even gonna know. I mean, I'm just trying to dumb it down the best that I can. So to escape this reality in itself, it's not even empowering. Now, if you want to talk about the okey doke, that's why this shit is okey doke. That's why anyone who's following that type of doctrine, there's no transformation in you. That's truly mind fuck, to be honest. Or that's insanity too. I mean, what the fuck? It's like, what do you even gain out of it? You hoping for something from, and then you don't even want to talk about fucking ancestors, but you planning for the afterlife. You not even dealing with fucking ancestors, nor spirit, but yet you planning for the afterlife that you don't even know. Oh, that world is going to be good. The animals going to be good. That they wouldn't be eating people and all that fancy shit you send to yourself as a way for you to escape this reality. You mentally fucking yourself. Again, why are you here, bro? Why do you think you're here? I mean, you may not know, but make the best out of it. Find out. Well, that's what the journey is. Become something. Express, share, leave your fucking legacy. Show your wisdom with the world. Whatever the fuck. But if you here, I mean, something got to be done. I mean, I'm just saying. Out loud, I guess. So that's why, even that mentality is not even shit. Like, you guys are going to have to choose your God better, man. You're going to have to do a better choice at choosing your God. But for you to do that, you would have to know your essence. Then you get a God in according to your essence that could elevate your senses. Or, I mean, that's why God is in your life. God is to give you the best experience you ever had. Thank you, God. Those miracles that you're going through, those life elevations, the life lesson. That's why God is so beautiful, isn't it? That's why God is so good. But you got to understand what you say when you're saying God, though. Just know your God. That's all we're saying. I mean, if you're choosing something to shape your life, make it make sense. But if you're a living corpse, or you're sleeping walking, or you're sleepwalking, and you're just talking out of your ass. You know what I'm saying? There's no power or no wisdom in your words, because there's nothing relevant to it. It's not, even the way it resonates, it's not even powerful. It's not grounding. It's not deeply rooted, man. You see what I'm saying? It's missing a lot. It's missing something, baby. It's not seasoned. He got to season the shit up, baby. Shit is too plain out here, baby. You know what I mean? Again, your essence, man. So creating those boundaries, I mean, it's not personal, but it's needed, you know, because you value you. This is not for them. This is for you. You when you create your boundary, again, the enemy, no enemy within, enemy outside cannot hurt you. And so much so, it'll go to a point where not only you would understand them, you would know them, who they are, you would understand them and forgive them. But at the same time, you also got to understand, you got to remove yourself out of their way. And that's how you find your path too. You got to find your path anyway. So removing yourself out, I mean, maybe I shouldn't even, yes, you're doing that as well, but you're going in your direction. There you go. You minding your business as you should. So I think I'm gonna leave it here, man. It's almost 2 hours, but always, man, I'm pretty much excited. It was, there was so much to say. You know, again, it's important, for you to go within, so you can never go without. That's very important. Because ultimately, this whole thing comes down to this. And my purpose, I feel like, I gotta normalize spirituality as much as I can. And I also realize by me doing that too, it's bringing more awareness to you. So, that's why, I got to help you to see what's in front of you. And that's why I always take my time even to talk about spirituality and letting you know and everybody know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's your life. You know what I'm saying? When you go to those fucking seminars, these niggas are telling you could do this, you could do that, you did all of that. This is all part of who the fuck you are. These things are taking place for a reason. You have people who are telling you how powerful your mind is. Well, why do you think that is? And you also got to understand too, and I came to understand that winners help people to win. Losers want you to lose. That's very important for you to understand. Even when I see guys like Denzel Washington, beautiful dude, bro. This nigga, whenever he get the chance to talk, this nigga always gotta drop some gems. If you get up 8, get up 9. Like, again, he's telling you the key to success, man. As he went through it, using his gift, now he's telling you the truth. Isn't that the best gift this nigga could even tell? And that's part of our nature too. What the fuck do you think I'm doing here? That's why I always tell people, everybody's doing God's work. Now it's being done in different levels, but it's all God's work. Even a pimp who's teaching you, even a nigga's teaching you how to pimp a bitch. This is also God works. It's all knowledge that is being shared. Of course, there's a lot more. I mean, I'm not saying I encourage that, but I'm just saying wisdom is wisdom, bro. What you do with it, how you use it, you know what I'm saying? Now, it requires more wisdom in you for you to know that too. Because now you got to know how to use it to make it work for you, to make it for the best of your ability. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, if you're a player, right? Let's just say you're just playing bitches for pussy. Like, how is that helping you though? Because there's a part of you that you're not truly experiencing. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you're still at that pussy level, like the sensation pussy level, like, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying none of that shit. But, I mean, it can't just be that. And because it can't just be that, when you know better, it cannot be about that. Now, we're not denying that. We're not saying we don't want that. I mean, does that make any sense? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, if you're going to choose a bitch, man, like, you can't choose her because she got fat ass, bro. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't believe if I even have to say that to a motherfucker, I'm slapping you, dog. Like, if I got to say this to a nigga, I'm punching you. I don't know, man. I don't know which one I'm going to do first. Should I punch you first, say that to you? Like, because this is crazy. see how crazy that shit is? Again, the fucking illusion too. I mean, again, this is not saying to go with someone who's beautiful as long as they have a beautiful mind. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, shit. To to each his own. I know what my choice would be. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, you know what I'm saying, I go with that inner beauty, not denying the outer beauty at all. Oh no 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 no! We ain't doing none of that shit. We ain't doing none of that shit. But it's not. I'm not gonna be with a bitch just because you look good though. That I'm sorry. I like it. That's no can do. That's no English, dog. Like no can do. No 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 no. Doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, and but it's not just that. Here we go too. Even for me to say this, and this is where you have to understand. You have to feed the other side of you too. Just for you to thrive as a human being, for you to be in a better state of mind, you have to educate your mind just the same way you brush your teeth, wash your ass, and that's what other niggas are telling you, man. Read a book, develop your mind. I mean, and that's what Jesus, in so many words, is telling you that you know what I'm saying, man can't just live of bread and wine, but of God's wisdom. Of any words that came out of God's mouth, whatever the fuck, however the fuck he said it. But the bottom line is, again, this is where this is talking about your life. Don't get it. I mean, you gotta connect it. You can't just look at it from a Jesus or God perspective and not applying it into your life. You gotta see how does that make sense. And this is how the knowledge transform your life. This is how the words gotta be made flesh. How is that? What? How does that translate in your mind, in your life, in your regular life? Can you just live your life, take shower, eat, fuck, and that's it? You're not gonna be the best of you, bro. To be the best of you, that's when life lesson comes in, the knowledge, the wisdom. You need all of that. And that's what's going to help you to thrive even as a human being. So again, you need God and God needs you. And also the God aspect of you, the more you lean towards that God in you, meaning those divine qualities that you have, the self, your, you know what I'm saying, your confidence, your joy, your peace and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? You building God's character. Now you become a public manifestation of that divinity. That's what being the Christ-like is. That's why I'm here. That's who I am. That's your goal. Nothing else matters, bro, without this. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like having $20 million, but you're dying. Like you don't have time to you enjoy it. Like it's like that. So again, that's why it's important for the knowledge for us to implement that into your life and to understand that the Bible and any other esoteric knowledge is there to serve you, not to put you in a box. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we're gonna leave it here. You know what I'm saying? Always remember to give is to receive. Learn how to give and receiving at the same time. And just know, man, the remedy of the pain is in the pain. Go within so you can never go without. You know what I'm saying? And if you think money's everything, then you're gonna do everything for money. And the opposite is true. If money is not everything, obviously you're not gonna do everything for money. Always be true to you. Never be, you know what I'm saying? So you can never be false to somebody else. I sent Mali.